Good morning, class. Good morning, Dr. D. I'm Akia, and this video presentation is in reference to my final. And I first want to say it was such a pleasure being with you, fellow colleagues, this quarter, and thank you, Dr. D, for everything. This class was very helpful to me, especially in being a medical professional. I really took heed to this class and the different things that were explained and, of course, of the readings. So to get started with this presentation on my final, the name of my final is called Values of Life. So the question that has been more profound to me is, what is life? What is living? What does it mean to live? I can ask 100 different people this one question, these questions, and get 100 different answers. To me, living is just being happy. Happy with your life, happy with your profession and your family. Everything else kind of comes with that. The success and everything comes with just simply being happy. Um, During this course, there were several different case studies that has sustained to life. And with life, we have death. I know that's something that we a lot don't want to face, but it's the fact, it's reality. So I will speak a little bit about the different case studies that I explained throughout the course, and different options we have when it comes to our death. So first I want to talk about two of the most recent case studies that we have probably either read about or saw in the news, and that was about the two life support cases. One of the Jahi McMath, a 13-year-old, and the other a 33-year-old Marlise Munoz, who is pregnant. Both cases are very similar. Both cases, both patients went brain dead and was put on life support. Now, with that being said, both families had different views. Jahi, the 13-year-old, her family wanted to keep her on life support while the medical professionals wanted to remove her, versus um, the Munoz case, where the family wanted to take off life support, but the medical professionals wanted to keep her on because she was pregnant. She was with child, and they felt that their legal obligation was towards the unborn fetus. Both cases are very sad, what a harsh reality the families both had to face. Um, Both of these touch home for me because I also dealt with the life support case of my grandfather, who was on life support, and because he didn't have the proper things in place, the family had to make the decision, and that is where it becomes a problem. Unfortunately, he passed before any decisions were made, but still, if you have the proper paperwork in place and the proper documentation, it won't be left up to the family. It will be left up to you to make the choice. As a 13-year-old Jaheem, that still would have depended on the family. But the 33-year-old Marlise Munoz had an option, and I'm gonna go through those options and explain to you that the importance of them. Now, there's so many different documentations out there. You have the power of attorney documentations, other different legal documentations that give other people the power to make your healthcare choices for you if you become incompetent. But two of the most important documentations is you have an advance directive and you have the a living will. Now, both of these are important because you do these exactly when you're in a competent state. No one has the control over these for you. You make your own decisions with your sound mind and body. You can decide on what type of medications you want, what procedures you want done, what, if any, if you have to be on life support, whether or not you want life support if you become incompetent. So having these different options, you protect your gas. And you don't have to take your family through the turmoil and the pain of trying to make these decisions for you. So if you haven't created a will for yourself or even advance directive, do so. I'm in the process of creating my own will because just being in this class alone and reading about it and knowing of it gave me more insight of how important it really, really is. To have. Every time you go to the hospital, they ask you this question, whether it's a small procedure or not, it's such a great asset to have just in case anything happen to you on any given day. Um, so different documentations are put in place for us, so that we don't have to go through what the families of the two patients had to go through or had to experience. So, moving forward on different case studies, one of my other case studies talked about your choice of health care, your choice of your rights to refuse health care. And in the health field, we have a form called informed consent. Whenever you are about to perform a procedure on a patient, they can sign this form giving you the right to give just saying that, hey, it's okay, Akia or any other radiology technologist to perform this procedure, and I am an accomplice in mind and body, and they can do so with my okay, with my permission. There's a lot of cases that working in the medical field, I'm sure you experience a lot of people refusing treatment, and that is okay. That is their right, to refuse treatment if they don't want to have it done. So we talk a lot about, I just spoke of the life support situations, different documentations. Two of the most important, if you haven't, get it, your will or your advance directives, and then your informed consent forms. So what about the different cases that is out there in reference to um, stopping life or postponing life or completely, um, you know, um, eliminating life altogether? So you have abortions. And I wrote in my paper about different abortions, and you have the pro-life activists, and you have the pro-choice activists, and this has been a big ongoing issue for several years now. But I personally feel legally that no one should have the legal right to a woman's body. She chooses to have an abortion. It should be a choice that she makes. That's why she has her right to do so. You can argue that, in certain cases, yes, um, it's wrong just for a woman to get pregnant just to have an abortion. That's just being reckless. But, there's cases where there's rape or, she's pregnant, without her will, against her will. And in that case, if she chooses to have an abortion, I think that it should be her choice at that point. You look at different situations, and we have come across different things in the medical field that challenges us and have us looking at our ethical rights and our legal rights and the different things that we feel is right versus the things that are right. In different organizations, they come across, they have so many different obligations that they have to face. So with that being said, I just want to briefly speak on our last case study about Patch Adams, the movie. We all saw the movie. I thought it was excellent. The last 2 weeks of class was pretty much based off of that movie. And I wrote about how Patch Adams was such a great person, how he used his sense of humor and laughter to, make the patients feel like, you know, everything is going to be okay. Gave them something to look forward to every single day. He set aside some fantasies of patients, and he went in with the cancer children, the cancer patients, and he was able to make them laugh and smile, and he showed a different aspect of the healthcare field, something that is really needed in today. But did he do a lot of things that was illegal? Yes. Did he do a lot of things that was unethical? Absolutely. Um, if you look at it on an organization standpoint, yes, there could have been a lot of lawsuits brought against them. There's a lot of unethical things that was done. But as a person, you can relate to him and he was just trying to be there for the patient. In today's society and with our organizations now, we have to be careful about the different things that we say, different things that we do with our patients, because everything is so tight-knit for a reason. We have to respect those rules and those regulations. That's why they're in place. As leaders, I'm sure all of us are taking these courses and will graduate from National Awards because we want to be a leader. If you didn't go into healthcare leadership, you went into some other field that gives you a responsibility. Own that responsibility. It's best that you own, as a leader, I feel that it's best that, you take on ownership of not only the patients but your employees. You know what I'm saying? You have to make them knowledgeable of the things that is in place as far as the code of ethics, the different rules and regulations that we have to follow as healthcare leaders, the different obligations we have as healthcare leaders. Being in the healthcare field is not easy. If you're not in this field for the patient, then it's best that you start searching for something else, because you really have to take that ownership and responsibility as a leader. I plan to be a great leader. My biggest advocate will be for my patients first, and then my employees. A department of happy employees makes for happy patients. You have to be able to compromise in a lot of situations, but when it comes to the code of ethics and the legal part of your organization, you must follow that to the T. It's for your protection, for the physician protection, and most of all for the patient's protection. So I really hope that this gave you a small insight on what my final was about. I hope this class was beneficial to you. It definitely was for me. I hope to see you in the next quarter, and good luck to you all. Thank you.